Welcome to the Sly Gittins Tech Simplified channel, and today we're going to be discussing how you can pass the MS-100 leveraging my study guide. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video and watch it to the end. The MS-100 is geared towards candidates that are Microsoft 365 administrators, but this one focuses primarily on Azure Active Directory and leveraging and administering those Microsoft 365 workloads such as Exchange, SharePoint, Skype for Business, or Windows, just to name a few, right? You will need to know a little bit of PowerShell, Active Directory, and DNS, but we're going to go into exactly what is on the test when we take a look at the skills outline in the following video. Next thing you need to take a look at is the cost of $165 to take the exam. The next thing is you can do all these tests online, which I recommend because you actually got a lot of flexibility when you take the online method. So definitely consider that. The next thing I'll say focuses on the skills measure. This area is really critical because it breaks the test down into the 4 pillars that they have there. Design and implement Microsoft 365 services, that's 25 to 30%. Manage user identities and roles, that's 35 to 40%. Manage access and authentication, that's 20 to 25%. And you also have plan Office 365 workloads and applications, that is 10 to 15%. We're also going to dive into the skills outline in a bit, but we're going to come back for that. So some areas that you can prepare. They do have, when I say they, Microsoft gives you some free training through Microsoft Learn. Go through these modules. This is a good place to start. And I have had a few people who leverage this and practice tests and pass the exam. I feel like you need to have some more additional training in addition to the content that is covered here. But I have had a few people who use this and pass the exam. So now let's go take a look at my study guide and how I use it to prepare for this exam. We start off again with that skill measure document, because the reason why I start there, because this is where you need to break up your studying time in there, right? So you need to find out exactly what areas do you know now, what areas do you need to spend some time on. So make sure you definitely do that. So the next area of the study guide is I go into training options. And I like to be pretty thorough with this because it's essential to know what options that you have. If you're a Microsoft partner, Microsoft provides free training that is a little bit dated than some of the other options, but is good enough to get you to pass. If you use that with the Microsoft Docs page, it should be enough to pass the exam. Another good one is Cloud Academy and Pluralsight. Both of these platforms offer some solid training. I actually went through all of these trainings just to see which one is the best. And I feel like all of them share some different elements that made it worth it to go through it. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with either the Pluralsight training. That's the one I would go with. And also the partner training with the Docs training might be sufficient. But again, the Cloud Academy and the Ingram Micro training, which I think has the most substance, is the Ingram Micro training, because that's a four-day class led by an instructor. So it's a higher price tag, but you get more personalized service than self-paced. And the great thing I also like about it, you can ask questions live. So one thing I would do if you're going to take the Ingram Micro training is take one of these other self-paced trainings, come with your questions to ask the instructor, and that's how you get the most of that training. And see if your organization will pay for that training. The Measure Up and the exam topics are the two go-to exam databases I use for this in terms for practice material. I prefer to use Measure Up. It's a little bit more expensive. It's usually $99, but now they're offering 40% off. So definitely go grab a few of those trainings if you can now, because you're getting 40% off. The next thing is the exam topics. It's free. The great thing I saw about this, the questions are pretty good, and even a few of them was on the test, at least for the MS-500. A few questions was on the test, but most of it was good questions that helped me find the areas where I needed to improve on and what I needed to use. So if you use either or, they're great. If you use both, even better. Something for the exam topics. I don't know how reliable some of the answers are there. So that's another area where Measure Up, the answers seem to be a little bit more accurate than exam topics. So just take that with a grain of salt. So once you figure out and create a baseline for yourself, and you can go into each element and see the hyperlink. So what I did is I leveraged the study skill measure document and added all the hyperlinks to the Microsoft doc page that corresponds to that task. So what that's going to do is it's going to help you reassign yourself or realign yourself to the area of the skills document that shows you the outline of the test, right? So if you need to learn about managed domains, within my study guide, you will see that I have managed domains with the hyperlinks. So use this after you identify the areas that you need to improve upon. So say if you did terrible on managed domains, don't listen to the full training. Come in here and read the pages that are associated to the areas that you had trouble on. This has helped me pass my test more times than not. It takes a little bit of time to create this document, but once I create it, it's my outline to study, and I don't need to go to anywhere else, right? It's consolidated in one area. So you can definitely see that. One thing to take a note is, if you're listening to this and if it's maybe like 6 months from now, and the day is, this is December 7th, 2020. If it's 6 months from now, the test is probably updated. Come take a look at the skills measure document because they show the changes that taking place. Just update the document if it isn't updated already by myself and to align it to what the new test entails, right? So just be aware of that. Like I said with the partner training, if you're a partner, you probably would know. If you're not sure if your company is a partner, does it resell Microsoft services or products, then it's a reseller partner. You get access to this for free. If not, then this doesn't pertain to you. But if it is, this is pretty helpful. The last time it was updated was 6/20/05, so it's not as fresh as some of the other content, but it's still relevant enough that it can help you about, I say, 60% of the way, and then you need to use other resources to fill in those blanks. But it's a pretty solid training that I found that to be pretty impactful. The next one is Pluralsight. Pluralsight is awesome, right? I love taking these trainings. They're very thorough. They build upon what's inside of that Microsoft-led training, but they're both pretty good. And this one is updated a little bit more frequently. You can see some of it. Actually, this one's a little bit older. This is 2019. So again, that partner training is a little bit more up to date. The Cloud Academy one is actually a little bit more up to date than probably all of these. So take a look at the Cloud Academy. It's pretty good. Like I said, when I took a look at the Pluralsight, it was pretty solid. Took a practice test, scored well on it, so it's pretty good. So just take a look at when these was created. You can see some of them down here. Either if you go with Cloud Academy or if you go with Pluralsight or if you go with the Microsoft training one, they're all great training. Just pick the one that's appropriate for you. The Ingram Micro training is pretty solid. Again, it's a full 4-day class. You have a live instructor where you can ask questions, live demo, hands-on experience. I found it to be pretty powerful when you prepare for this. So depending on your skill level, right? I didn't have as much hands-on experience. So for me, what I did is I went inside M365 and utilized and set up some of these features to help me prepare before I got to that day class. And I also went through a few of the self-paced documents in there as well. So that was pretty helpful. The next thing is the practice test. Like I said before, if you go with Measure Up, it has a way better interface and is very similar to the testing interface. So after I took these practice tests, when I sat for the test, I didn't feel any different. I felt like my preparation was good. And again, I like to take tests before I start studying to know where I should focus my time on, because that helps me kind of align where my strengths are and work on my weaknesses and then go over my strengths when necessary. But I can use my time more appropriately and cut down that study time. Also here, if you use this Microsoft 100 practice test, it's pretty good. The great thing is free, right? And some of the questions, again, is probably on the exam. The questions helps you take what you learn and apply it for the exam. You can kind of see what type of questions. Both resources are pretty good. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. Let me know what other certifications you want me to cover. I'm planning and working on the MS-101. Then I'm going back to do the AZ-104. So those are my next two that I'm going to tackle. I'm also going to do some more demos on certain technology within the Microsoft 365 suite. So let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see, what you'd like to have. And until next time, Sly Gittins is out. Peace.